Well, I travel all over the country speaking up for private enterprise and constitutional government and law and order and freedom of choice. And specifically, this purpose out to Phoenix was to speak to their chapter of the John Birch Society, a group of about 550 good, solid Americans.
Governor, let me ask the second question, a very general one. What do you think the state of your party is today?
State of my party?
Yes, sir.
You mean the Democratic Party? Well, you know, I'm a little Democrat, a little Republican, a little independent, and all the way American. It's in a shambles, so to speak, at this time. Of course, George Wallace having a terrific effect upon it. You remember the party chairman, Larry O'Brien, said about 2 months ago, there's no room in the Miami or in the party for George Wallace. And even as late as this week, we found him photographed in the hospital room with George Wallace, saying, "Come on, Governor. Come on, we got you 100 nice rooms, and we're going to welcome you down into Miami." So they're changing somewhat, but if Wallace is not on the ticket, then I don't see any change of whatsoever the Democratic Party returning to the White House again.
Do you foresee a third or even a fourth party emerging?
I say that if they slap Wallace down this time, and really the delegates are political control most of the time, and we expect them to slap Wallace down. I hope this doesn't happen. But if they slap Wallace down, they're going to be slapping down, I believe, a great majority of the American people. And even though Governor Wallace may or may not be, and I don't think he will be involved as a candidate in a third party because of this tragedy that struck his life, and because, too, he'd already stated that he thought probably that he would stay within the Democratic Party this time. It took me 5 months to get him to accept the candidacy as a Democratic candidate. But if he doesn't, I believe that the American Independent Party will still get behind some strong conservative in this country, and that through write-ins and through petitions and through getting on the ballot in most of the states, it may make a great deal of difference in November 1972, far more than it did in 1968.
What about the McGovern guidelines, the so-called McGovern guidelines? Do you think there will be a more representative Democratic convention because of them?
No, sir, I don't think so. I think we're going to, because, well, here's an instance. You know how the hardcore for Barry Goldwater, the conservative, got out and got him nominated, but he still was not accepted by the people because of maybe images that had been projected and everything. Well, the hardcore of the liberals and the leftists and the socialists and the Marxists got out and organized for McGovern and has given him an image of a position as of right now that is not deserving so far as the people are concerned. We're talking about his delegate support at this time. And when the time comes, if he should get the nomination, he will, I believe, be overwhelmingly defeated.
Do you foresee any changes in the campaigning style of the various candidates in the wake of the shooting of Governor Wallace?
No, sir, I don't see much of a change. I say this about all of them but George Wallace, and I'm talking about President Nixon and Humphrey, McGovern, and Kennedy, and they're all soft on communism, and they're all fence straddlers on Americanism. They're weak, cowardly people that don't have the guts and the patriotism and political courage to tell it like it is in this country. In 1970, during the congressional races, President Nixon was the most outspoken man in the world for law and order and against crime. And the night of November the 3rd, I believe it was, that was the last night we've heard him say anything about it. Was the night after the night before the election. He campaigns one way and lives another. Mr. Nixon is a hypocrite, a big hypocrite.